When you're cooking steak medium rare, it's important to let it rest after cooking. Another day, another great steak. Good stuff. When you're cooking steak medium.
Aqui no Ceará e hoje foi dia de lazer. Ontem, domingo, a gente não aproveitou ontem domingo, a gente ficou só lá pela mãe, tava com jeito de chover. E hoje, quer saber, a Rebeca não foi pro colégio, que ela tá um pouco adoentada, gente. Então, hoje a gente decidiu, eu e a Rebeca, ir pra nossa piscina tomar banho, gente. Eu digo, pô, uma grande surpresinha aí. Não foi tão grande que eu já vi, que tava um pouco suja, mas a gente vai lavar ela todinha e vamos arrumar ela. Ah, Rayane ensina a piscina no caixa d'água. Vocês não se envolvem, porque quando eu digo que é piscina, é porque é uma piscina.
This is a real shrunken human body.
We sound like kids when we're like hitting up our friends. Saying,
Yo,
hey,
Jay, what's up?
wanna go ride bikes? You know?
What up, Wendy?
Wanna go play on the trails?
Hey, hold up. Y'all not gonna believe who just came out the trees. Biggie with the chain and the GoPro? You a whole hiking influencer now. Man, what the hell is this? Rod cooked, line tangled, bait gone dry, we out. Hell, nah. Fish ain't even real anyway. We pulling up to Biggie's crib. He said it's got those good mushrooms. Hope we ain't cooked.
Nothing like cold beer and weird mushrooms.
Cooked, but hitting though. Hey, hold up. Y'all not gonna believe who just came out the trees. Biggie with the chain and GoPro? You a whole hiking influencer now. Man, what the hell is
Put the
this?
AC in the window. It's
Rod
hot shit
cooked,
in
line
here right
tangled, bait gone dry, we out. Hell, nah. Fish ain't even real anyway. We pulling up to Biggie's crib. He said it's got those good mushrooms. Hope we ain't cooked.
Nothing like cold beer and weird mushrooms.
Cooked, but hitting though. Hey, hold up. Y'all not gonna believe who just.
I've been watching all these shit, yo.
Hold up. Hey, hold up. Hold up.
Vocês não veem forte, não. E hoje eu dei.
I literally just saw another one of those things. They're everywhere. The Gorilla AI shit. Now I lost it. It'll pop back up again though. Those shits are funny as hell, the Bigfoot shit.
brick of white powder, and now I can't sleep.
I don't know what was in that powder, but I feel like a superhero. I found these guys loading this stuff, and when they seen me, they ran away.
I took the whole plane finders keepers. The GPS was set to someplace called Columbia. I don't know where that is, but we'll find out.
I found this brick of white powder, and now I can't sleep.
Today, my wife left me.
Which means more time for de-rinking. All right, boys, I'm gonna go interview a potential new huzz here. 1 to 10, how bad do you want my white monster? I got it all wrong, boys. That wasn't a huzz chair. She was a fucking he.
I don't play for that fucking team.
If there's any other sexy huzz out there, quick breath. Who want my white monster? Looks around.
Today, my wife.
Trying the new
Alice, today is a.
All right, told you I'd do it. Going in now. If something pulls me sideways, well, that's the adventure. Air's thick in here. Real still. Feels like breathing through wet cloth. This ain't mine. This is old. Maybe older than the trees around it. That's me. That's me from 2 days ago. Who took this? If this jumps on playback, it ain't a glitch. Something happened. I ain't moved, but I was somewhere else. You hear that? That's what the old loggers called the whistler. Only shows up when you're alone. All right, time to leave. Okay. I ain't alone, and whoever's out here knows my name. Something's in that circle, and it ain't done with me yet. Next time I'm finding out where that photo came from. All right, told you I'd do it. Going in now.
Yo, why
They
these
sound
shits
like
are so
kids.
funny to me?
All right,
I can't.
told you I'd do it.
I can watch this Bigfoot shit all fucking day, yo.
A sharp little beast near the waterfall. Metal claw of many uses. Cuts, pokes, spreads peanut butter. 5 moss points. This thing's a keeper. Found its twin frozen in a creek. This one lives on. 3 moss points for loyalty. Stylish. Breezy. Utterly humiliating. 2 moss points. This is the crunch pouch of mystery meat. Found it under a mossy shoe. 0 flavor. Infinite chew. 3 moss points. Fills the belly, kills the joy. Found this near a ravine.
Still has a rock in it. 4 moss points.
Might keep it. Found the hashtag tiny stick of false hope near a burned log. Doesn't stand a chance against Bigfoot Maine.
The arm of Narcissus.
Found this in a bush surrounded by duck faces.
1 moss point.
For the click. Lost the rest to shame. Saw a reflection. Not sure it was mine. 5 moss points. Existential. Found this sharp little beast near the waterfall. Metal claw of many uses. Cuts, pokes, spreads peanut butter. 5 moss points. Man's tinder. Catches spark, holds it like breath. Don't overlook mushrooms. They do more than taste funny. Stick, shadow, and time. That's your compass. If you're ever turned around, the sun's your friend. Don't suck it, don't cut it.
Stay still, stay calm, wrap it tight above. Get help or outlast it.
Ain't pretty, but it'll keep your guts happy. Always filter, unless you want to wrestle a fever. Leaves a 3, leave it be. This little devil will itch your hide for days. Don't trust pretty greens. Find the driest tree, lay low and soft. Grounds your bed, skiles your roof. Sage, spruce, and sweat keeps the big sniffers away. Hang it high and stay still.
Yo, whoever is doing this shit, it's fucking crazy.
fucker is trying to convince me that a gorilla escaped from the zoo yesterday. This fucker is trying to convince me that a gorilla.
Alright guys, I'm gonna try to paint just a little bit. I done wasted 13 minutes sitting here looking at this fucking Bigfoot news.
So Elon Musk is going scorched earth on Donald Trump and the Republicans because it turns out they were all lying when they were campaigning to you. It turns out it was a big lie. Doge was a big lie. I think Elon Musk feels used, and because they didn't
appreciate getting hit in the eye.
and he probably didn't appreciate getting punched in the eye by whatever deep state guy did that to him. So Trump was supposed to come in and blow up the deep state, and all he's doing is fortifying it. That's exactly what's happening. And in case you don't know that, well, here's Elon Musk to let you know part of it. They never went to the Pentagon. In fact, Donald Trump and the GOP are drastically increasing the Pentagon's budget. The place where there's more waste, fraud, and I mean, if there's a ground zero for waste, fraud, and abuse, it's the Pentagon. They never went to the Pentagon. They never did that. They promised to. Elon Musk promised to. He actually said he was going to do that. He said, "Oh, it sounds like a job for Doge," and they never did it. Now, I'm going to guess Elon Musk wasn't allowed to. Maybe, maybe he didn't go.
Punch you in your eye, trying to go there.
Yeah, maybe he didn't go there because he's also a defense contractor, and he gets a ton of money from them, but from the Pentagon, and he didn't want to piss them off. Who knows? Here he is. He goes, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination." Oh, wow. Shame on those who voted for it. Shame. Shame on Donald Trump. He's saying shame on Speaker Johnson. He's saying shame on everybody except Thomas Massie.
The guy who's right.
That's right. You know you did wrong. You know it. That was June 3rd at 10:31 a.m. And when Elon Musk goes scorched earth, he's one of the few guys that can actually scorch the earth. I mean, I'm just saying, watch it. Watch when he's going to land a starship on your bedroom while you're sleeping.
I like that everybody thought, we dumbass Democrat I know thought that Elon was secretly in charge.
Yeah. They didn't make,
yeah.
They didn't make any of those cuts. The Doge said, but Bill Clinton and Al Gore, they bragged that they cut 240,000 jobs from the federal government when they were president. That was their big. You remember that? And the era of big government is over, and they bragged that they cut 240,000 jobs from the federal government. And so Elon Musk comes in, identifies all this waste, fraud, and abuse, and the Republicans in Congress won't even take a vote on cutting it. They're not cutting it.
It's not waste at all, but they're stealing it on purpose and it's not a mistake.
That's right, it's not waste, it's their big,
Incompetent. They have very definite ideas of what they do. You just don't get to know.
right, it's corruption on purpose. And so then Donald Trump just takes that money that was being dispersed through USAID and he gives it to Marco Rubio in the State Department to give out. So that's what's happening. Or they give it to the Pentagon. So here's another tweet by Elon Musk. He said, he retweets him saying, "I'm sorry, I just can't stand anymore. This is a disgusting abomination." And he says, "It will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to 2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushing unsustainable debt." So how this affects regular people is that it will eventually create hyperinflation and crazy interest rates. And nobody will be able to afford a house. Your kids won't be able, finally, they figured out a way. So, Wall Street, MAB tweets out, "Our annual U.S. budget deficit is going to be over $2 trillion per year going forward. We pay over $100 billion per month just in interest on the national debt. That's $1.2 trillion a year just in interest. That is about 25% of all government revenue going to pay interest." Elon Musk tweets that out and he says interest payments already consume 25% of all government revenue. If the massive deficit spending continues, which it will, believe me, the deficit spending will continue until morale improves. That is a twist on the old phrase, the beatings will continue until morale improves. That's what this is. If the massive deficit spending continues, there will only be money for interest payments and nothing else. No Social Security, no medical, no defense, no nothing.
So if we printed the money, it could somehow not have to go through it that way.
If only.
Nobody knows why we do that.
Nobody can answer why we borrow money when we print it as ourselves. No one can answer that. The head of Joe Biden's Economic Council couldn't answer it, couldn't even really understand how our money system works. And he was the head of.
He understood the question.
And he couldn't even understand the question. So Elon Musk retweets this guy out. So he's talking about Geiger Capital, talks about, just to try to give you a perspective of how much money a billion and a trillion is. So he says 1 million seconds ago was May 23rd. Not that long ago, right? 1 million seconds. Well, how long was 1 billion seconds ago? 1 billion seconds ago was 1993. It's kind of like that joke I say, what's the difference between $1 million and $1 billion? About $1 billion. So what's the difference between a billion and a trillion? Well, a trillion seconds ago was 30,000 BC. Gives you the idea of what a difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion is.
That's crazy. A trillion seconds ago is 30,000 BC.
So the U.S. national debt is now growing by $1 trillion every 6 months. 6 months, it grows by $1 trillion, which if those were seconds, it would be 30,000 BC. So he retweets that and he says, the immense level of overspending will drive America into debt slavery. You want to say so? Can I show you? This is the old, the head of the Fed. What's his name? Anyway.
Jerome Powell.
This is Powell. That's what he says.
The U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. The U.S. federal government's on an unsustainable fiscal path. And that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy.
I have the sense this worries you very much.
Over the long run, of course it does. We're borrowing from future generations. It's time for us to get back to putting a priority on fiscal sustainability. And sooner is better than later.
The thing that's the big boner here is that Trump decided to, and the GOP decided to go ahead and cut health care, cut medical benefits, Medicaid to working people and poor people, and cut food stamps. You know, by hundreds of billions of dollars, not touching the Pentagon, the thing that everybody wants cut, and they're still not reducing the deficit. They're still exploding the deficit by an extra $2 trillion, and probably an extra $5 trillion, probably more than that. So they went and screwed you. So they gave you all the pain, and you get none of the benefits.
Jimmy, Bernie Madoff couldn't ever stop his scam. He literally, if you want to put a stop to it, he never could.
Right.
You know? So they're going to have the whole, hey, this is going to drive America to slavery. That must be our ultimate goal, because Jerome Powell, the guy from the Fed, was telling them this. So how, what is it, they don't know? It's just for me to worry about, not the people.
Right.
People there, they want it to happen. There's no other explanation. Because this is a thing I've heard about my whole life.
Oh, he also tweets this out. So, not Jerome Powell tweeted out, this is not Apple or Tesla or even NVIDIA. This is the U.S. national debt. And look how it just goes. And we're up to 36 trillion, on our way to 37 trillion. And look how it just ballooned since 2000. Just bam.
And Pentagon can't pass an audit.
And the Pentagon will not pass an audit. So basically, people are going to be setting their own Teslas on fire just to stay warm this winter.
See how the timeline coincides with Catherine Austin Fitch explaining how we had trillions of dollars stolen?
Yes.
Since this roughly, she said 97, but it's roughly, you look at this fight.
Another tweet from Elon Musk. The rabbit hole said it took over 200 years for the United States debt to reach 12 trillion. Is now how much we added in 4 years between 2020 and 2024. So we are adding as much debt in 4 years as it took us to add in 200 years. And Elon retweets that and says America is in the fast lane to debt slavery. And again, here's one of these nice charts. So there's with the start of the United States, and then boom. So that's what we're living through right now.
Yeah.
And
you know what you're doing.
Because your government is completely captured by corporations and billionaires, and you don't live in a democracy. This is not what a democracy looks like. This is what oligarchs who are pillaging the treasury. They're hollowing out the country. That's what they do. That's what mafias do. We live in a mafia state, just like in Goodfellas. When they took over that restaurant, they put the booze and the food in the front door. They take it out the back door, resell it, put that money in their pocket. And then when the restaurant went belly up, they just burned it down through the insurance. And that's exactly what they're doing to our country. They're not investing in our country. They're not investing in you. They're sucking the money out. They're taking it from your health care. They're taking it from your education. They're taking it from your food stamps. They're taking it from your road construction, your school. They're taking it from everything they shouldn't be. And they're putting it in the hands of a handful of millionaires and billionaires who actually run the country and run the whole entire Western world. People like Klaus Schwab, people like the international banker who now is Carney, who's running Canada. That's who Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Those are the people who actually run things, right? Mark Andreessen. Those are the people who run things.
Don't forget.
What?
Because they built all those bunkers, all those people.
And they're building. So what Kurt's talking about is they're building underground bunkers. They're spending trillions of dollars building underground bunkers. And what? Go ahead, say it.
Well, all those billion, like all the tech people have built on, what's his name? One from Facebook, the robot boy.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and it's not a secret why. They say it out loud at their tech. You watch these tech speeches, they're insane.
Yeah.
But it's because when they're just gonna run out the clock till AGI comes out. You know, artificial general intelligence, the thing is gonna come out any minute now, because that's gonna eliminate the white collar jobs. And the guy literally said at this convention, there's going to be a lot of civil unrest when that happens.
Yeah.
And that's why we have bunkers. So they're running the debt up. As soon as AGI comes out, all the laptop liberal dipshits out there, your jobs are gone. That's when, if you recall the Soviet Union, they united people that worked at all levels because they were mad. They've anticipated this. So you're going to be in the fire, and they're going to have bunkers until it clears up. And then they don't need you anymore when you're dead because they got AGI.
Here's Elon Musk's final tweet that I got right before I came on air. Kill Bill. He tweeted that out, which means kill the bill, this budget bill.
Oh, I thought it was Bill Gates. I was like, that's a little bit too much. It was
Nah.
Bill Gates.
So, of course, the way people have reacted to this is sadly predictable. So this person, Shuait Travel or whoever this person is, why are you stirring posts like this? Which side, or why are you stirring pots like this? Which side are you on? Pick
Israeli?
one.
Is that Israeli?
We are confused who to follow. It's not that. So you see it's all about team sports. Which side are you on? How about Elon Musk should be on the side of the American people, just like Thomas Massey is on the side of the American people. That's the side you're supposed to be on, not Democrat, not Republican, not which billionaires control the Democrats, not which billionaires control the Republicans. You're supposed to be on the side of the American people and trying to get a hold on our fiscal sovereignty, which we are losing. It's gone. So this isn't going to end. Meaning the money printing and the spending and the borrowing and the debt. And so what does that lead to? That leads to hyperinflation and high interest rates. So people who have money saved, it's worthless, and people won't be able to buy houses. So that's what this is leading to. And it's coming faster than you think, I think. And that's why people like when Steve Bannon came on the show, he was talking about we have to do this to save our civilization. We have to do this to save our country. And people are willing to take hurt. I think people would take the hurt of cutting Medicaid or cutting food stamps. I think people would even be willing to cut other things if you were actually cutting the debt and deficit and it was going down instead of exploding. And if you were sharing the pain of that, if it wasn't just for people who relied on Medicaid and food stamps and Medicare and Social Security, if it wasn't just for those people who had to take the brunt of it, but it also got spread out to the billionaire class. Well, Trump's doing the exact opposite. He's making the tax cuts for those billionaires permanent. Well, the exact opposite of what everyone who voted for Trump thought they were voting for is happening. And you get people like this. This is what's wrong with the country. That whoever this person is, the Shuait Travel.
Get back in your pen.
Yeah.
Because see, as soon as someone's doing that, that's some manipulator class.
Yeah.
That's immediately suspect. Because I just looked up this person's Twitter right now, and they're talking about how we're spending too much and the deficit and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that's like not a good actor, whoever the hell.
Right. So pick a team. Our friend Blakely asked Grok to explain why this one big beautiful bill is going to explode the debt and how it's going to hurt working people. Well, you know what? I'm going to save that for another segment. So there is Elon Musk. Crushing the GOP and Donald Trump's big beautiful bill. And again, I'm no fan of Elon Musk. I don't have irrational hatred for him either. But
I haven't picked a billionaire myself.
Yeah.
That I like or hate. I don't give a rat's ass. All we learned from this is, no, Elon was not in charge, idiots. And guess who else isn't in charge? Trump, apparently.
Yeah, Trump is not. Yeah, so Trump is not actually in charge, and Elon Musk was never in charge, because that's why he's doing this. Because if he was in charge, he would have implemented some of the cuts from Doge. He couldn't. And guess what? They're not implemented. None of that money that he found is being cut from the budget. Did you know that? So they first said they were going to cut $2 trillion. And then it came down all the way down to like 160 billion. And people were like, well, we'll take what we could get. And they're not even cutting that.
You'll get nothing like it. That's
So yeah, and you'll get nothing like it. So you'll get nothing and like it. You'll get no cuts and you'll like it. And Elon Musk, trashed his reputation with half the country by doing this, and he got nothing out of it. It didn't do anything. It didn't work, except his reputation certainly got trashed with half the country. And his Tesla
didn't like him already.
And his Tesla
didn't like him already.
But his Tesla stock, crashed. It wasn't crashing. It wasn't crashed. It wasn't crashing before he teamed up with MAGA. It only crashed after he teamed up with MAGA. And so it was all for nothing. Nothing. So Donald Trump is And the Republicans are, turns out they're going to cut taxes for the billionaires and screw everybody else. Who saw that coming?
Peter Thiel, when he made J.D. Vance in a lab.
Yes, that's
I
right.
made him fat in the lab. I didn't say creator.
Yeah.
Then, the Thiel and that other scumbag from Palantir, all those tech people, that's who runs, that's who's running stuff.
Hey, if you watch this show, you already know the media lies for the establishment nonstop. They lied about Russiagate, Ukraine, COVID, the lockdowns, all of it. That's why I keep partnering with Ground News. Their app and website make it super easy to compare media coverage from all over the world in one place. It's actually very handy. Like on Trump saying Zelensky is prolonging the war by refusing to cede Crimea to Russia. Well, if you go to Ground News/JD, you'll get instant access to nearly 600 articles covering it worldwide. Ground News will even tell you if each reporting source has a political bias, how reliable the reporting is, and if they're independently owned or corporate controlled. They'll even show you where news sources are based. It's a super helpful way to see how UK media says Trump's walking into the Kremlin trap. Kiev points out they're under a missile attack, and antiwar.com says Zelensky is actually the one holding things up. Different versions of the same story, and exactly why you can't just take the first headline you see as fact, especially when Trump's involved. You know the media is going to twist it into whatever fits their agenda. So I view it's 40% off the same plan I use, which gets you unlimited access to all their features.
Introducing Gemini in Gmail, AI that thoughtfully summarizes conversations and helps craft professional responses, so you can stay ahead of that never-ending inbox. Make emailing the easiest part of your day with Gemini for Google Workspace.
With over 2 billion monthly users, YouTube Ads makes it easy to expand your reach, target the right audience, and turn viewers into customers. Let your business be seen with YouTube Ads.
Not to put a sense of urgency, but seriously, let it window where there's almost nobody in the space doing it, and you can post a simple video like a Bigfoot thing. Bigfoot here, and get millions of followers over the course of like a couple videos. Why not go all in now?
Get ready.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake.
Trust the process.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process. But no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
This is the Wild West Gold Rush.
You're gonna look back in like 15 years as a content creator and be like, I could have done it, and I did not go all in, and I didn't invest the time and resources into this sweet spot. But like, what's about to come is this like huge creators, or like these saplings are about to rapidly explode because essentially there's nothing on the market.
Don't miss this boat.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
These videos went viral in the last couple of days, getting millions of views. And PJ's here to tell us exactly how he did it.
I'm really excited to show everybody today like how I made the video step by step, like why it went viral, how I knew it would go viral, and how I've kind of created a formula for recreating this. So excited to kind of dive in and show you the process today. I'm a visual guy, so let's kind of like break down like all the stuff at a high level, and then I'll walk you through like the individual clips and the prompts and all that kind of stuff. So like first came where I saw one of these original videos on TikTok that were kind of trending, and it was like smart, but it wasn't provocative. It was just some random dude in, you know, like the ancient Israel. And I was like, that's not a good visual hook. What would get me to stop scrolling? And as you know, guys, like, you know, that's always the question you start with. You know, I'm a big fan of like the Mr. Beast school of thought of like, start with the thumbnail, start with the title. You build a video from that on what will stop the scroll. And so I just knew, and like, it's an important caveat to know, like, I grew up in the church, kind of was a pastor's kid. Like, I still have a faith life. It's not
particularly evangelical as much anymore, but you know, like this is all means a lot to me. So I didn't want to have it like super bashing Christianity or blasphemous or anything like that. It was more of just like, okay, what probably wouldn't other Christians do because it's a little too provocative, but like non-Christians wouldn't fully understand like these jokes. So it kind of like, it's really funny because like, all my favorite magazines now, like Christian publications, they're all like, is this blasphemous or is this the funniest thing we've seen all week? So it's really fun that it like flirts that line. And that's what I was trying to do, is just have fun with some really great stories and characters. So I knew that like Jesus on the cross smiling would be like the most unhinged opener shot ever and would like get attention.
Yo, fam, they don't know that God is about to BRB.
And then I also thought of this really funny headline of like how Gen Z, how churches are marketing to Gen Z these days. I just thought that'd be like the best headline ever. So yeah, this was like the first shot, and then I'll take you through some of my like creative process in a bit. But then it, you know, essentially it's always just like thinking through like what are iconic scenes that people would recognize from the Bible. Obviously Jesus. This is a character named Samson.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down.
Well,
and,
you know,
the phrasing you use there, like BRB, like okay, like how replacement is that?
Yeah. I think I just heard in my head, like when I was thinking of like Jesus on the cross, like, yo guys, BRB, that was the first one. And it wasn't like, it's kind of funny, but it's like the comedic parallel of like the acronym of obviously like GOD, about to BRB, let's go baby. That's what it's like. No, it's a, you know, my whole like school of thought on comedy, and it's funny, I've never really done a ton of like I've been a commercial director for 15 years. I didn't do as many funny things, but I've just been like binging Key and Peele, and I've grown up on SNL as well. And like, I think I'm starting to get a pattern for like creating funny content is all about establishing like somewhat of a serious norm that's like you know, addiction therapy, and then you like have normal person, and then you insert that third person. Like that's the SNL way, is like establish the norm, break the norm with like a very unconventional twist to it. This does it like from the get-go. It's like Jesus is very serious, but now he's an influencer, so it's not serious. So that's kind of the comedy style that this plays on, and you can kind of rinse and repeat this with like other viral video types, as we'll talk about here. So this is like Samson, you know, he just took some pre-workout. Like that's the funny bit here. I hate explaining jokes because it always dumps down the joke.
That's good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens.
But like David saying like about to yeet this stone at Goliath, you know, I thought was really funny. And I'll show you guys like all the other versions of this.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
This Moses was really funny because obviously it's an iconic scene as he parts the Red Sea, and he's like, no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks. And like that's what the Egyptians would do. They built the pyramids. So just the way he said stacking bricks is funny because it's also like a kind of...
So this is the guy behind the fucking Bigfoot shit. I don't know how I just happened to come across this
rapper term for getting money.
Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
It's lit was really funny to me just because it's like a furnace. This is like this iconic scene where they're in it. They get thrown in the furnace for their faith, and then I don't know why for Noah I just thought like him quoting the Old Town Road. I think it's because I got horses in the back. You know, he's got horses in the back. Seemed really funny. I have no idea what this animal is right here. Yeah, it is a Libra. And my backstory is this is the canon. Like he didn't feed these guys, right? They got eaten by like, you know, lions on this. So like this was an animal. Now it's not. AI has shown us extinct species.
Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi, no snacks. Just kind of waiting for God to respawn me.
I'll show you with the original video that I saw that kind of inspired this, because I found that like this rain, like they have this secret. These are really weird, like you just don't think it's AI. I don't know why this performance style is really off-putting in a good way, where you're like, yeah, what is the secret? So Jesus kind of saying like, I got no Wi-Fi, no snacks. God's about to respawn me. I had 2 more funny jokes that I guess people can steal. It was the Tower of Babel, and it was like, yo, we were building this thing, and now everyone starts speaking like The Sims. Everyone's
Right,
like, speaking
right,
like
right.
Sims. And then another one was like, Lazarus is like, yo, Jesus hit me with the phoenix down. I'm back, baby. Like, I thought those are a little too obscure video terms, but there's probably a series.
You know, I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're looking a little sus.
This one was really funny because it's like coat of many colors. He's got Technicolor drip. In the story in the Bible, they throw him in this pit, steal his thing, and tell him he died, and then he comes back.
I'm supposed to say that God got me pregnant? Yeah, there's no way my parents are buying this story.
This was
that one.
Yeah. Okay. So this was actually a little controversial, but not if you really look at the history. So like Mary in the Bible was potentially like between 14 and 16 years old when she got pregnant, as pretty much most, as my understanding is, like women were of marrying age when they were like 14 to 16. So everyone was like, oh my God, Mary's too young. But like, no, this is actually biblically accurate. But I thought it was like, okay, let's make her feel like a modern teenager, which like my parents are not gonna believe this. And then lastly, Jonah and the whale.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry, dude, I just took a poop over there.
Ironically, we're doing a full 25-minute AI TV production right now. So I've been dealing with Jonah for the last 3 months. That's going to come out. I don't know when it'll be distributed, but we're finishing in the next few weeks. And then I just thought the idea where he's apologizing to everybody and then like, oh my God, I pooped in the corner. Sorry, Mr. Whale. So that'd be a funny thing.
Yeah, this is great. And they captured the whale so well in the background.
Yeah, it looks well. It looks like the bottom looks like the sphincter of a whale to me.
Yeah.
But who knows what stomach lining looks like. I wish I watermarked this stuff. Like, so this week, like, obviously it did pretty well on my TikTok. I had like, I'll show you in a second, but I have like no subscribers. Here, let me do a full screen share and I'll kind of take you through some different numbers and metrics. Because I'm presuming I'm talking to a lot of like creators, people who want to create AI video and want to kind of do this. And I don't ever like share this numbers and stuff to brag. I'm still kind of an amateur at like the social media game. I think I've cracked the code on Twitter X pretty well, but like I think that there's something to be done with TikTok here that like no one's still tapping into yet. And that's what I want to explain today to people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. TikTok might be really good for this because it hooks you in so well. And I feel like with AI video, the two genres that we're going to see perform so well, one is comedy. I think that's obvious. Another one is kind of like horror, because you already see some great things on TikTok with the siren head and all the weird stuff on there that just kind of captivates your attention.
Yeah, so there was a Void Stomper, I think is the main TikTok account that does all the weird horror things. It was so funny because like a month ago, he was posting that like, I get 1 billion views a month and I can barely pay rent. Like, what is wrong? So I did a whole thread breakdown on like why I think he's not making money and what he could do to make money. In a sense, like that's what I'm excited to talk about like later today is like the business side of how you monetize AI content. And first and foremost, I would say that like if you're just making 8-second like, well, initially like AI slop was like a pejorative term that was making fun of AI, but now it's actually like a genre in AI, which I would consider either like low effort AI, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's not entertaining. It just means it's kind of like there's no, if I say there's no skill, that's wrong too, because it's what all the AI like, go pick up a pencil, you just prompt, you didn't make this, AI make, like, I get that's so many freaking stupid comments. Yeah, like I would say AI slop is its own genre of just kind of brain rot content, like the Void Stomper, horror things. I think it's a lot harder to monetize because people don't, like, it can get a lot of views, but it's also, there's no moat around it. Like, I could give you guys the prompts for that. It's a very simple prompt. You could literally upload an image of it, take it in a ChatGPT and say, deconstruct this prompt for me. And then it would. So like, there's no moat around that. So I think the moat always to creating great AI content is taste. Is like you said, comedy, entertainment, is knowing what hooks, people. And so that's kind of what we'll break down today is like how to recreate this on a consistent basis.
All right, good night,
And then can we also jump into some of the tools? Like, was this all VO3, and is VO3 making a big difference? Could you have done it with VO2 or Kling? Or, I mean, I know you've kind of been on this journey for a minute here.
Yeah. So I've 9 months. Like, let me do a very condensed backstory. So like, feature commercial director for 15 years. I randomly grew a YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers back in 2019 with my dad. We went from 300 subscribers to 500,000 in a week, which was insane. Thanks to PewDiePie, gives a crazy shout out. One of our videos went viral. So I like kind of understood the content game from that, but then I got burnt out because, as you guys know, the YouTube grind is endless. It's this vacuous black hole which constantly consumes all your heart, mind, and attention and doesn't pay a lot. So I burnt out. I raised like millions for a TV series that I wrote. I launched that, but then we were spending $2 million an episode, and I, over time, over budget, and I was like, I think AI will disrupt all this. So then last summer, when the show came out, I was like, I'm going all in on AI. I'm going to try and, kind of compress the cost. I don't have any reputation in Hollywood to lose. I like to democratize, these tools to creators. I like to teach people how I do it. So that's kind of was the start of the journey. My first AI video I posted was this Princess Mononoke live action trailer, which was crazy. It got like 22 million views like in like 2 days. And it was like my first post on Twitter, essentially. And I had like 700 subscribers. So this is a very young journey for me, for like on most of my socials. Like my YouTube channel was big with my dad, but that was under his name. And then I had 700 subscribers. So I think you can really have like a crazy fast journey. I think TikTok currently is the best platform for like massive viral growth. But I like X because to me, that's where all if I say like the power brokers and power players, I just mean like high net worth people, investors, the right players. They're on that a bit more than they are on TikTok. Like my DMs on Twitter are like 10 times the quality of my DMs on TikTok, which is like, hey dude, I'm in high school and I need like a video for my new shoe company. Our budget's like $50, So right. Anyway, so that's kind of my journey in a nutshell. It's been wild. It's really fun. It's still like trying to figure out how to monetize it, but what I have and what I know, I'll share with you. Back to your original question on the tooling side, I've used all the programs over the last 6 months. I really like all of them for different things. I think what makes VO3 different is the simplicity and the speed of it. So like I just go from script to ChatGPT working on the kind of prompt structure for it, and then I spit that out into VO3, and it just instantly gives me some pretty great performances. And we're gonna walk through kind of how we do that. And then it's just one stop. Like some of my videos are just like click, 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 done. No lip sync, no other tools, no other things.
Yeah, if you could tell us a little bit about how you approach thinking it. I'm sure you started at kind of the top level. What goes viral? What do people want? And then then comes like the mechanics of actually putting it all together. That's what I was assuming.
Yeah, exactly. So like I've had a number of videos go viral over the last 6 months. Like the Pupperman one was the one I did on the other show earlier this week, and I explained my whole process. It's good. And VO3 I think is just like very quick for just creating like really funny content. You're seeing a lot of it. So my buddy sent me this TikTok account, and now this is like huge. But when he sent it to me on Saturday morning, it was like this video which had like 5,000 views, and then this video which had like about 500K views, and the dude had like, this was his second video. He had like 1,000 subscribers. Like it was nothing, and it just ripped. And like that's why TikTok
it already came across my feed this morning.
Yes, this one's nuts. So let me show you the video real quick, and we'll kind of like deconstruct like how I thought, okay, here's how we can improve it. Here we go.
Oh, the king signed a law banning prayer for 30 days. Obviously, I prayed. Let's see how that goes.
All right, guys, it's official. They're throwing me into the lion's den. I'll film what I can, Bree, and if I survive, this is gonna blow up.
All right, welcome to my crib. That one's asleep. That one's just staring at me. Honestly, they're kind of chill. But I'm whispering because I really don't want to wake the angry one.
Morning, folks. Still here, and they are too. That one's been staring at me since sunset. Starting to think they like me.
All right, made it out. Thank God, literally. Watch till the end. Comment what you think, and hey, maybe I come back if y'all want part 2.
Hey everyone, Daniel here.
So honestly, it's good. It's not like tight and punchy, kind of like mine is, but it's like it's the right direction. And I was like, okay, this there's something here. This can be improved. Clearly, like people loved it. But ironically, from a technical perspective,
Let's see how that goes.
all right, guys. From a technical perspective, this is actually not good on the basis that it's a different guy the whole time, and that's the main problem with VO3 right now is character consistency. So you like tech. It's basically all text to video. Like you can't really do talking performances with image to video. So this guy is a different dude. Now, how they did it is they just had a consistent character description. I'm gonna kind of show you guys this. How I would have improved this is because his voice is different every time. I would have just taken to 11 Labs and done a like a voice to voice to make that performance similar or consistent, and then lip synced and all. But I mean, if you describe it in kind of the same way each time, you're gonna get mostly there. I think all this is still not like that hooky for non-Christians because like there's no provocative first thing. It's just a dude in the window. They don't like the Daniel story is not as common. But I thought this bit was when I was like, oh, this is really smart. So I deconstructed this prompt and then I posted it on Twitter, which I'll show you in a second. And I love this idea of him whispering, panning the camera, and he was like, I don't want to wake them up because they're kind of angry. And I was like, okay, there's something to explore here. So let's look at my Twitter post.
Just so casual about it all. And then also, can you talk about what going to 11 Labs? Because I'm not totally sure what you meant, but I'm assuming you mean that you would have scripted it all out with something text before, gone to 11 Labs, generated all the correct voice, and then synced it up. Is that what you did? What you would have done to make it all?
Let's look. So I would just go to I think it's just called Voice Changer now, and you could basically download the clip and then upload the clip to here, and then just as the audio source, and then you can make it one of these voices, and then just have the consistent voice. So then it just takes their voice and it maps each of these various voices to one consistent type of voice, and then just resync that on top of the video.
Smart.
Yeah. Okay. So once I saw that, I was like, all right, there's something here. So then I wrote this post. I'm not the best at a lot of social media, but I think the one skill I have is like clickbait headlines at some level, at least on X. And I figured out a formula is like you have to have some sort of provocative statement on like usually virality and growth, because that's what like everyone consumes social media either for entertainment or like infotainment of like, I want to know how this creates value for me so that I can recreate success. Because essentially at the end of the day, we're all narcissists and we all have attention. We got to figure out how do I increase my status? How do I increase, my attention online? So, saying like this thing is exploding on TikTok is a great kind of first hook. And then I like to validate it, like, okay, what's the numbers behind it? So it's like 500K views in 12 hours from an account that only had one video and 100 followers. So very like, you can do this too if you do this. So then it's like, try the prompt for yourself. And this is where kind of my sweet spot has been as like an influencer on X is like, I used to think prompts were a moat and I used to hold them really tightly, and now as the models have gotten so much better, like early on I had very cinematic videos and nobody else or few else did, and it was like, okay, well that's my mode. And then now like in Runway you can just prompt like the cinematic shot of this, and then it's like, okay, that it looks like Roger Deakins shot it, like this is amazing. Prompts don't matter anymore, so in the sense of like we have to clutch them. So I'm kind of open kimono with my full processes because I found that like if you just give value to others, the opportunities for like accrue to you so much faster than being closed. And it's like you guys with your channels, like you show the full workflows, like it just the karmic debt always comes back to you in the end. So I don't really hold. So this actually got 600K views like over a day. It was very fast on my thing, and I always try and credit like it's not my video, it's the creators. But I broke down this the prompt, and this is kind of the prompt structure I've been using in VO3. I think it's pretty simple. In a sense, you have like a main description of what's happening here, and in the second line you have like the quote. If you're getting subtitles to come up in your VO3 videos, I've heard that like if you use quotations around the quote, it has a higher likelihood of putting captions on it, and the captions are gibberish and they look like crap.
Yeah.
So I try not to use captions. It still comes through occasionally. And then it says like, then you have a little more of a character performance note, like he looks happy as he whispers, as if he knows a secret. And then he pans the camera to show lines in the background behind him. Light pours through the cave entrance, blah, 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 time of day. I think actually the problem with this that I identified later is film stock. This vintage is why we have this, and actually that's not good, so I ended up later removing that. And then ultra wide selfie lens is the other error that I had in here. It'll produce this fisheye lens effect. You don't want that, so just say wide lens in the future. But otherwise, everything's pretty good on this. And then I credit the guy, and then of course I'm always trying to drive traffic to my newsletter. Side plug, I have no idea if I'm doing a course because I keep getting all these crazy opportunities. Like I had this, one of the biggest content creators reached out to me the other day, and I realized that I'm now very busy. So this is the course basically for the foreseeable future. So
I guess that's a high quality problem to have. So
yeah. I know. I'm still like not broke, but I'm like, gosh darn it, I have no monetization on any of this. I think I make like $1,200 a month from X, nothing from other platforms, but I get brand deals now with like people wanting commercials, which I have like a small studio that I kind of funnel if I can't take it all to. So like this stuff does pay, but like, yeah, if I was way smarter the moment VO3 dropped, I should have done one viral video and then spent like a solid couple days on like a $99 course. I just don't know if I have time for that. Functionally, I should say this, but like this, what I'm doing on this call is what I would be teaching anyway, probably just in more polished detail, but who has time for that? So anyway, to that end, subscribe to my newsletter because this is actually where I give out like full copy and paste prompt workflow guides. I do like a thing a week. So anyway, people really like that, and well, so then I was like, okay, and mind you, last week I'm in freaking Hawaii on vacation as I'm visiting my nephew's graduation, supposed to be taking time off, and I told my wife like I can't miss this opportunity. Like I have to do this stuff, and like that's the balance. Is it's really hard to have like a healthy lifestyle, and as you guys know, as like content creator in an age of like rapidly evolving, like every day a new tool comes out, keeping up with it, mastering the attention behind like creating content with it, teaching. It's just it's crazy, and then you gotta like actually figure out how to make money on this stuff too. So sorry, I had a big cup of coffee and I talk like a fire hose, but hopefully it's
but I just wanted to say to the people watching this that you actually brought up, because I knew that BJ was building this specific stuff, and I actually wanted him to come out, talk about it a little bit. So it's unfortunate that or maybe he'll build it, we'll see. But if he does, I was planning on promoting it because I haven't seen anything close to this. Like this is obviously he knows what he's doing. This is not an accident. It's obviously a system. It's obviously a formula you can replicate. You don't get lucky 10 times in a row. So whatever he's saying, it's working. It's getting millions of views. So this is, I'll definitely be paying attention. So I'm taking notes. So
I appreciate that. Yeah. And like, I have to come out in the course. It could be within a month or so, but like functionally at the end of the day, I just kind of want to like give value as fast as possible to people and just make cool stuff. So this is pretty much most of what I teach. If you subscribe to my newsletter, I'll probably have more news on other things and give helpful tips, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So once I saw that video and I saw like how well it was doing, I was like, all right, I need to create my own spin on this. So now we're going to talk like scripting. Obviously I talked to you guys about like, I knew that the image that would hook everyone's attention was Jesus on the cross kind of smiling and laughing like he's in on some big joke. Little blasphemous to some people, but I just knew it's what clicks. It's what gets them to watch the video. So you always got to start like hooky, strong. This is essentially functionally the thumbnail of the video as if this was a YouTube video. So then I kind of referenced myself and said like Bible influencers went crazy viral. So sure enough, the Holy Vlogs guy, he just started, or girl, excuse me, they just started creating more content like, and this is very smart for them. I don't know how well this trend will continue to like do well, but look at this, like no videos, 4 million, 3 million, 1 million, and other people are kind of ripping this off in like new things. They'll do it with like other religions, or they'll do it with like video games. Like this is like hot right now.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop.
No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I think it'll
Or
still
you see the
stay
Bigfoot
hot.
one?
Yeah, those ones are really funny. Yeah. So this will stay hot for I think a while, like the format, because technically it's not like a trend, because like this is how everyone consumes normal content. Like they do influencer style videos. So I don't think this will go away. Do I think that like the video, like people, the Bible niche specific one will have played out, but like then you just move on into other things like aliens doing it, and like this thing is kind of going to be evergreen as a format. So we'll kind of talk through it. I knew with this post I wanted to. I think this would have done better if I had the fake headline of like churches are doing insane videos to market to Gen Z. Like I think that would have been even better. But it's not real, so I felt bad and I didn't do it. But I said I'll teach you how to make this step by step. Here's my exact conversation, and then in the post, I basically was like, you create a script with ChatGPT, expand the shot list into my prompt structure, paste it in VO3, choose favorites, edit it, boom. And then I just gave this, and I sent this out on my newsletter too. This is my full conversation, and this is what we're going to look through with ChatGPT now, of like, how am I scripting this? How am I searching the prompts? And then what goes into the food processor that is VO3. So let's look into that. I keep everything when I'm creating just kind of on like a notes app, and I'll just write down ideas when I have it. So like later that morning, as I was like just kind of whatever hanging out on vacation, I just kind of wrote different jokes that seemed like funny things. So like Adam, this is always this joke I've grown up with, where like, what the hell happened to the platypus? Like, Sting is the weirdest creature ever. I'm always thinking God was like, I think we got 2 designs messed up, but I'm just gonna ship it. We gotta release the product tomorrow. Just ship it. Platypus is a weird creature. So I thought,
I love that this started Pokemon. That would be that video would be incredible to see.
I did it.
Really?
Thing. I ended up doing it. I'll have to pull this stuff up.
I think see how it did the platypus, if it had any issues with that.
Oh, are those all your Jesus misfires?
Yeah, there was a lot, and it was. So I'll take you guys through this in a bit, but the platypus thing was funny. Yeah, I'll walk you guys through this in a little bit. Anyway, this was fun. So I come up with.
Yeah, the platypus is definitely one of the most weirdest animals on the fucking planet, bro. It's a mammal that lays eggs, and it has poison, but it doesn't have teeth or anything. And it can swim very well, but it can't see or hear underwater. It's like, what the fuck is, what are you? What the fuck is a platypus? It has a bill like a duck, but then it has fur. Like, I don't know. Are you a bird mammal? What the fuck is going on, platypus? Who sent you? Who sent you?
Ideas. And then once I come up with maybe, so this is my scripting process, but once I come up with maybe 10 funny ideas where all I write down is just like Jesus with the 5 loaves of bread and fish showing the crowds as he magically duplicates bread and fish. And he says, I call this trick copy and paste. And then he's just like, so then I write all these down and then I put them into ChatGPT. So let's go. So this is a new virgin conversation. This is the start of my conversation with ChatGPT, just like I wrote it. So I said, I want you to give me VO3 prompts for a number of shots, my shot list. Here's the VO3 prompt structure, which I'd like you to reformat everything like. And guys, I'll send you this prompt structure. You can include it maybe in like the description of the YouTube channel. This is also like, it's on my X, it's on all the platforms because I posted this. But it's like what I talked about before, where it's basically have a description, have the dialogue, have the performance of the dialogue, and then just add a few more details about this. And once you get this to ChatGPT, it can always take and extrapolate, okay, this, just copy and paste this into it with this as the reference of what the output, and then ChatGPT will extrapolate, like fitting this into all these different details. And then, so I said, here's the shot list. So what my shot list is then just basically a bunch of little bits like this. You know, and it's bits from the show, like that you ended up seeing, like Samson blindfold, thought they could flex on me, took some pre-workout and ended up bringing the house down. God is about to BRB. So I think a lot of these I wrote, but then also, as maybe we'll see, is it suggested me new ideas. So that's kind of what I call it co-piloting an experience with ChatGPT. Is I will say, like, here's what I like, here's the tone I'm going for. I usually give it, like, think of this as a Key and Peele skit or an SNL bit. So I want you to, like, reference that dialogue and that thing for what we're creating together, and then give me some ideas on directions we can go. So ChatGPT, I want you to pitch me more ideas for Major Bible stories, make them talk like influencers, take note of all the humor that's in my story, try and emulate it, Abbott Elementary, Office, emulate that. So then it's going to pitch back, like, Eve after biting the apple. They said eat local, so I did. Now I'm getting a good thing. How did I miss that? That one was actually really good. Eat local.
I did.
Oh, good. Yeah. And a lot of these is, like, not that funny. I would say the hit rate is maybe like 1 out of 50 are good, but still, it's like, I think creativity is about iteration and, like, back and forth. And, like, my best comedy stuff I write, I have, like, one writing partner, so to say, where I'll just jam with him on, like, a phone call of, like, thinking this, he throws me ideas, and then I go back and, like, kind of write the stuff we threw against the wall. So ChatGPT kind of can function like that for you. So anyway, it pitched me a bunch of different ideas. What's my response? And then I think I like the idea. So there's a story in the Bible of Esther. She's this kind of, was almost like hired as like a courtesan / like, she became queen because she was like the prettiest, and she ended up saving her people from genocide. So I like the idea of this, like, get ready with me while I go save my people from genocide, gotta look cute to impress the king. In the end, Google didn't like the word genocide, so, and with all the weird, I don't know, I cut the bit later, but, you know, it kind of gives you a lot of, like, get ready with me while I, like, blah, 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 and I keep saying, like, more, give me more. What about something, this is the perfect lip gloss if you need to save your entire people. This is my go-to lip combo when I want to impress the king. So just kind of, like, iterate, and then when I felt like I had it, I, like, just put it down on my notes of, like, my shot list of, like, I like this, and then give me the, I want to call this a platypus. So sometimes I'll, like, have a line, but I don't think it's dialed in yet. So then I'll just give it the line. I'm going to call this one a platypus, but I think it was meant to be a Pokemon. And so then I just say, give me alt versions, and then it'll give me, like, 10 versions, like, tell me this isn't a starter Pokemon. You know, and so, like, it just kind of gives it, and then I choose one of these and I put it on the, you know, I come back here, put it on the shot list, and then go on to the next one. Give me lines for Jesus, bored in the tomb, waiting 3 days to rise again. Maybe he does a crypt tour. So this is where that line came from. Where was it? Aha, here it is. Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi, no snacks. And then did I see God respawn me? Okay, I don't know. I don't know if it also suggested respawn me, but that's what I'll do as well, where I'll basically pair part of what it said with another, or I'll ask it to iterate. And, you know, it's just kind of like iterative back and forth. So then here I'm actually asking it to turn my shots into prompts, because I want to feel how this is coming out. Okay, cinematics, selfie video style shots. Great. So like I gave it the scene, and it's giving me back this. So then let's go to flow and look at some of these as we start to, like, see the early drafts and kind of how they go.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just say this, I had a few notes here. So the first thing you're talking about is basically you have a very specific prompt that you're doing, and then you're doing, like, for the VO, you're putting that into ChatGPT, and you're almost doing like a prompt expander. Like, here's the whole prompt that I want. Here's apply this to all of these, and it just expands it for you. That's brilliant. That's going to save a lot of work for people. For that, it's a back and forth. That's a phenomenal way of using it. I use that so often for all sorts of stuff. One thing I would also recommend people try is use the voice mode for that. You know, especially if you're walking, you got your headphones on, you know, you're thinking about something, you just click that button, the advanced voice mode with 4.0, and you just go back and forth, and gives you 10 results. You're like, ooh, I like number 4, do more like that. And you kind of drill down deeper and deeper, and that works incredibly well. But yeah, that was great.
Okay, amazing. So I think one of the first ones I did was this David one, and you guys should be able to hear audio. So to use VO3, or they call it Flow, for some reason it defaults to VO2. So just make sure you're always on VO3. Notes, this is the Ultra plan. The Ultra plan is ultra expensive. It's like $250 a month. I think they subsidize it your first month. You get about 83 generations for that. This video, if I had to guess, probably took around 80 to 100 generations. So let's just call this video $250, but it's led to far more work. You know, like it was a net good ROI for, you know, me. And I'm sure the models will get cheaper over time. And technically there's like bootleg versions, ways to do this where you could just do like, you know, generate the images in Kling, and then, I'm sorry, you can do it in Kling. You can do it like Midjourney for text to image, get that image dialed in, and then just take it into HeyGen, Hedra, Captions, like what, you know, there's 100 like voice talking apps, and then just do that. What you're missing by using those is some of the movement of the backgrounds and kind of like syncing it all together. Like what VO3 is really good at with text to video is just full motion scenes while people are talking, while other things are happening. Otherwise, with like image to video, it's just not as dynamic of like what's happening in the background.
And I noticed you use one shot, one iteration per prompt, and you do it multiple times if needed. That's smart. Can you explain that?
That's exactly right. So technically, if you got a lot of cash to burn, you could do 4, which is like, it's like $10 or whatever like that to do that. But what I have found is that like there are going to be little iterations. So for instance, when I first did this one with Noah,
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
So clearly, like we're having an issue here with the captions. I still didn't do quotations, so unfortunately, you just kind of got to run it again. What I didn't like was the fact that it was giving me the animals walking out of the arc instead of into the arc. So then what I did in this case is I would basically copy and paste this, bring it back into ChatGPT, and just say, here, I'll just do it with you guys.
That saves a lot of credits, right?
Exactly, because it's slow, but you just really want to do one at a time to save money. And then I basically say, can you adjust this prompt to make it clear that the animals are walking into the arc? VO3 keeps making them walk out of the arc, you know, something like that, and then just hit enter, and it'll give you an adjusted prompt to that.
All right, we're going to continue the conversation on the Dylan Curious channel. That's going to be available right now. We'll have links down below, so click there, and we'll see you in a minute.
Here it is, guys. This is the forefront of complete digital AI entertainment, where you don't need a whole studio full of people. You just need a handful of really creative, funny guys, and subscriptions to the latest software out there, and then you have it. You can make your own fucking TV shows. All right, I think I'm gonna cut it right there. We got a little bit less than half of this done, which isn't bad. These lines are super crooked, but we'll try to fix them in the next run through. Make sure I get these brushes clipped up. I'm notorious for leaving paint on my brushes. So we almost have the background filled in. It should only take us a couple hours tomorrow to finish that section, and then we'll start working on the couch. Man, summertime is here. It's fucking hot up in this bitch. All right, let me get up out of here. Whew. Man, we did some pretty good sessions today. Our first session was about 4 hours, a little bit more than 4 hours, working on that background. And we did another solid hour just now, almost an hour and a half. And yeah, hopefully by the weekend we can have this underpainting done, and then we'll start detailing our next canvas, which will be a Whisper Series edition. All right, guys, thanks for chilling with me this evening. I'll get with you guys the next time. Peace. We're out of here.